Oh yeah. Ladies, gentlemen, children of all ages, even the grandmammies and grandpappies. Welcome to another episode of the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network in conjunction with Clear Production Sports. I am the Midnight Rider. He's the big guy KG. Soon we'll be joined by the boss man BJ. And on this Friday Eve, you're going to walk down that aisle when you go to work tomorrow morning. You're going to stand at the water cooler, and they're going to ask you what you watched last night. And you're going to tell them the Thursday night throwdown. Yeah. What's going on, man?
Oh. let me sit back so y'all can see.
Yeah. I thought you'd be giddy about this, baby.
No, I'm not. Not at all. We'll talk about that later on and coming up. But like the man said, it's the Thursday night throwdown presented by the Sideline Junkies in conjunction with Clear Productions. I'm doing well. I'm the big guy KG. That's the Midnight Rider. How you doing tonight, sir?
Oh man, I am doing great. I'm gonna give a shout out early. I messed up. 2 years ago, I was looking for cable. I saw Hulu. I saw Sling. Just recently, my Sling, I got tired of it. I was like, I'm missing too much stuff. Hulu Live Sports. Hulu Plus Live. It's my best friend. It got me reignited or reconnected with one of my favorite channels, and that's the MLB Network.
Ooh.
And oh my gosh, the last 2 nights, yeah, dog, just quick pitch. I got MLB Central on hopefully a DVR this morning. So in the middle of the night when I'm up and sending y'all different messages, I can watch a little MLB Central with the best man in baseball in terms of commentating, and that's Mark DeRosa, who should be a manager in the coming seasons. But yeah, man, it's just, oh man, I'm babbling. I'm going on and on. But Mark DeRosa, he played for the Atlanta Braves. He played third base, played a little shortstop, played some outfield, played for the Nats.
That's why the name's familiar.
Yeah. And then the other shout out, I don't mean to be giving shout outs today, but the 106.7 and 980 have gone to this place called Walters. And I was like, I got it before, but today I got me some Old Bay wings from Walters. Man, can't do nothing but say good things. I want to get a burger, but I kind of want to go in so I get the burger fresh off the thing and off the grill. You know what I'm saying? And I can throw my A1 on it. Hopefully it's on a brioche bun because I prefer brioche. But if you don't have brioche and you got ciabatta, hey, ooh, I ain't mad at you.
Ciabatta with chipotle mayonnaise.
I do ciabatta, A1 sauce, bacon, and then my cheese depends on my mood.
Pepper jack can't go wrong with provolone. Provolone melts the best.
But pepper jack gives you that next little.
See, it's funny you talk about burgers. We're joined by the boss BJ, man that pays all the bills, keeps the lights on. I was telling the boss BJ earlier, I had a green tea with ginseng, Arizona green tea with ginseng earlier. And I said, the only thing missing is an order of fries and a pizza burger. It's the only thing missing. Shout out the YMCA in Manhattan. It's been almost 30 years since I've been there. Great balling atmosphere. So overnight stays, but great food downstairs. So, BJ, how you doing tonight, brother?
I am fine, gentlemen. How y'all feeling?
Good.
You missed the whole Hulu. You missed the. It don't matter. It's all good.
Yeah, I know. I'll be punished later, I'm sure.
No, it's all good, man. Life be lifing.
It does. It absolutely does. It absolutely does. It be puffying.
Oh. We're going to let you have that one.
Oh Lord. Let's start this off.
Standing up doing the podcast now.
So never mind. Because this would be a good segue into the NBA trade, but I ain't gonna say that.
Nope, we're not even going there first. We gotta say goodbye, unfortunately, to the Say Hey Kid, the great Willie Mays, who was the oldest baseball Hall of Famer living. Played in the Negro League. He had just released a statement earlier in the week that he was not going to be able to make it to Rickwood for the Negro Leagues game that's coming up. Started his career in 1948, May 25th, 1948, for the Birmingham Black Barons. Started in the Major League Baseball, May 25th, 1951, for the New York Giants. Finished his career September 9th, 1973, for the New York Mets. Career batting average of 301, 3,293 hits, 660 home runs, 1,909 RBIs, 339 stolen bases. 24-time All-Star. Won the World Series in 54. Two-time NL MVP in 54 and 65. 12-time Golden Glove Award winner. Roberto Clemente Award winner in 71. Won Rookie of the Year in 51. Batting champion in 54. Led the NL in home runs 55, 62, 64, and 65. Led him in stolen bases and from 56 to 59. Hit 4 home runs in the game April 30th, 1961. His number 24 is retired in San Francisco and with the New York Mets. Of course, I said Hall of Famer, San Francisco Giants Wall of Fame, Major League Baseball All-Century Team, Major League Baseball All-Time Team, as well as probably having one of the greatest catches of all time. And that was just one of his great catches. He had several great catches. My man keep checking in. 24 All-Stars is effing ridiculous. You damn right it is. Gentlemen, I'll turn it over to you before I start gushing anymore. I'll give you the floor. Thoughts on the late great, and I emphasize when I say great, Willie Mays.
In these last few days, I think I've changed my mind on who I think is the greatest baseball player. But no, I can't say that because Willie has always been up there. But I always went to his godson, Barry, as the greatest baseball player, mainly because I saw Barry play. But when you read the stats, I think he's like the only player with 3,000 hits, 300 steals, and 660 home runs. My man was killing the game, man. 24 All-Stars. And I think, and this is, you know what? When guys talk about these guys being plumbers and electricians and whatever, I think they can only say that because they didn't even understand or don't even know the other part of the story. Like, we go down the history book of this thing, African Americans in baseball in the early years. We're talking about guys that couldn't sleep in the team hotel. When the team went to get food, they had to go somewhere else to get some food. And like, I think Hank Aaron was the person they credited with the story. He was like, most of the time on the road, the only place you could sleep at was a mortuary. So you tell me a baseball player had to go get some sleep in a casket? And these dudes still came out and bowled like this? And these jokers worrying about somebody saying F your mom? Or Westbrook or Westbrick? I always have this thing where I think they don't understand, or people before us, and it's partially because the narrative is controlled by the people that did the oppressing, that you don't always get the whole story. So you don't hear about this stuff, these stories, these tales about the guys and what they went through just to get to the major leagues, and then their accomplishments as well. You know, we're talking about a dude like Satchel Paige that didn't start his MLB career until he was 48. But back to the Say Hey Kid, just one of the best players ever. That was probably my dad's favorite player, if I remember correctly. Either him or Clemente. And when they sat around and started telling stories, man, it was a beautiful thing, man. I used to love it. I used to enjoy it. Go ahead, BJ. I'm sorry.
Nah, guys, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm having some technical difficulties, and I was from when KG was reeling off all the accolades. You just sit there and bask and just like, and all I could think about is what Midnight Rider just said. You did all that under those circumstances, and you still put that up. Can you imagine what it maybe would have been like if it was more welcoming, if it was more maybe like if they played today? That, like, you know, this when we talk about, man, what if they got to play today? And we're not talking about the aspect of athleticism. We're not talking about the rules changing. We're just talking about being treated like a human being. You know, and it's like I can't even. I've learned over the last couple of years. I'm in my 40s now. You know how you try to sympathize with people, like, man, I know how you're feeling. I've learned to not say that if I can't sympathize or I've never been through that. I can't even fathom what that would have been like. Like I can't if I went to work tomorrow and they said, yeah, we going back to how it was in the 30s, as far as, you know, people of color, and that's how we're gonna run it here. I would probably, I don't know what I would do. Like that I can't, my brain cannot process those type of things. And for him to have all those accolades that the big guy KG reeled off, and to be just like, if you listen just to your baseball purists, like there's emotion talking about this today because he meant that much. It's certain people in baseball that mean that much, whether you're white or black, and he's one of those people. It's like what else can you say? There's nothing more I can say.
Dude, think about this. The city, New York, was not separated by a color line. It was separated by, were you Jackie or were you Willie? That's how, and and I think the people don't even understand that this is where our fandoms as African Americans come from. It's like when last year when the prom thing was happening and everybody like, you're jumping on the bandwagon. This is our pride. This is us swelling up and puffing our chest out because we see us doing something in a contentious situation and still trying to survive. That's the beauty of it all. Like our fandom at times becomes very in tune with who we are as a people. And I think the Willie / Jackie situation just encompassed that whole thing. And I think it shows throughout history until probably lately, you know, how much it transpires that way. Go ahead, KG.
I'll say this. You talk about stories, and it was a story that's constantly being told. And I've heard this story for years. When Willie Mays faced Satchel Paige, and he got a hit off of him the first time up, and he said to the third baseman, "Let me know when that little boy comes up again." Said he was on the on-deck circle kneeling down, and the third baseman said, "Hey, Satch, he up." Said Satchel Paige came off the mound, walked halfway to home plate, said, "I'm going to throw you 3 fastballs. You won't hit one, and you're going to go sit down." He said, "I'm so full of myself not knowing." He said, "All right, you're not going to throw me 3 of the same pitches and think that I'm not going to get a hit." Said Satchel Paige went up, threw 3 fastballs. He said when he threw the third one, after it left his hand, he walked off the mound and said, "Go sit down." And he said he swung and missed. He said, there wasn't nothing I could do about that. But the stories that he told, and a lot of them on like Sports Century, you can find them all over Twitter now. Make sure you save those stories because they are great stories. He called Roberto Clemente the best baseball player of all time. That says a lot. That says a lot. And
especially from him.
Yes, I hate saying it all the time, but it's the truth. We're losing a lot of our legends, man. That's why you got players like Barry Bonds, Pete Rose, Ken Griffey. You move over to basketball, you got a LeBron James, you got a Michael Jordan. You got to start cherishing these guys while we still have them in the physical form. Because we already sad enough because you don't get that post-retirement Kobe. You see what I'm saying? So cherish these guys while you got them. Please. So, fellas, we got some news to get to. NBA news. JJ Redick has agreed to a 4-year contract. He's putting together his coaching staff with the Lakers. I'm going to give this to the Midnight Rider first, since he's the resident Laker fan. Matter of fact, while you do your thing, I'm going to text Big Jim and ask him how he feels. But
I mean, there's not much to go on here. I think we've kind of the secret's been out the bag, and I think the only reason that Redick this wasn't announced sooner is because of the Hail Mary to Dan Hurley. And I still don't get the Hail Mary to Dan Hurley, but I understand it. Sometimes you got to take a chance on a guy that you think can change a culture or change how you act. But the problem is, as I've been calling them the last couple of weeks, the 3 blind mice are still in charge. And I know people have asked me who the 3 blind mice is. It's Rambis, it's Jeannie Buss, and it's Pelinka. And I just don't know if we do enough from a schematic, from a having a tight situation. I mean, our last 3 or 4 draft picks have really not made any impacts. So I would love to see what Redick does. I think Redick is very cerebral enough that coaching shouldn't be a problem. And if I know, I don't say I know him, but if I know what the setup is going to be, he's going to give himself a good person to sit in chair 1. Chair 1 probably is going to be an ex-coach or somebody that shares a similar philosophy to him. And then chair 2 is going to be a good coach. I don't think he's bringing Phil Haney back, but they're going to put somebody else back in that seat. So it's a situation where I think it's where we're going to be a learning situation. I don't know. I don't have an animus towards the situation because I think I was prepared for it from the beginning. I was just waiting to figure out when and how.
Fellas, can y'all hear me good? I hate to keep asking that.
Yes,
I am
sir.
having some super technical difficulties. Man, I don't know where to start with this. Does this are the purpling, and I say this because I don't want Midnight Rider to take this the wrong way. Even if the Lakers are trending towards Washington Wizards territory, the league will always pull them back up by their bootstraps. That's just how it is. It'll never be 1979 years of purgatory where the Lakers aren't relevant. But I will say this. This is absolutely embarrassing. I just don't know how else to put this. And to a certain effect, and stay with me on this, and y'all know that how I feel about LeBron James as a man, what he's meant for basketball. I'm not a LeBron basher, but this is one of those things where if and of course all the information always comes out. We got all these podcasts where everybody likes to talk and everybody likes to give you the inside scoop, and it's going to come out that this is LeBron's guy, and I just think that's going to tarnish whatever legacy he's trying to put together. Because this team under JJ Redick is not going anywhere. The coaching wasn't the problem. It was a damn near 40-year-old LeBron James having to carry the load for the purple and gold. And something I've said the last couple of seasons since they won that bubble championship is that until Anthony Davis, until this is his team, it doesn't matter what else goes on the floor. Until he can tell LeBron to step back, which he'll never do because he doesn't have that in him. But if he ever had that in him, like, this is my team, this is my responsibility, LeBron's, this is my team. And he has to say that and mean it and come out and play like it. He has to be the early New Orleans Pelicans Anthony Davis. If they can't get that, this is a in-season championship, 10th seed, getting waxed in the first or second round team. That's what this is. It's no pieces you can get to this. This is a dumpster fire rolling down the street into a tsunami, and the tsunami is on its way to a nuclear power plant. That's what this is. And if this was the Wizards, this would be normal. This would be a day in the office. Clock out, go home, I see you tomorrow. But it's not the Wizards. It's the purple and gold. It's one of the league's babies. A championship behind the Celtics. It's one of the storied franchise. And for it to be where it is now, where you had Monty Williams get fired. I believe as two-time coach of the year. Two-time coach of the year get fired. Well, I believe, I don't know the number exactly, but 75 million left on a contract. He only got 1 year to play out in Detroit.
So
and
he's got.
Go ahead, Midnight Rod. He got
Also,
what?
Two quick numbers. So his buyout in Phoenix was 20 million. His buyout in Detroit was 65. So Monty Williams is sitting on 85 million right now, just in buyout money.
And I have a problem with that because you're putting it on the coaches, and Monty Williams wasn't the reason why Phoenix failed this year. It was the play on the court. That, you know what I mean? You get them to, go to Detroit, and then that happens, and we know Detroit's nowhere near being a playoff contender, like a seed. They're not even that close. You're not even giving them a chance. But the point I'm trying to make is, if you got a guy out there with that type of coaching resume, and you go get JJ Redick, and like I said, if this is LeBron going to get JJ Redick, a guy he can control, a guy that's not going to, get in his face. If you're not if you're against that type of coaching, that somebody that can correct you, correct the team, has the authority. JJ Redick doesn't have any authority on the Lakers. It's a joke. It's a joke. He's an assistant coach and LeBron's the coach.
So then I'm gonna follow up with this for you.
They just had a podcast together.
Hold on. So what do you call Kobe and Shaq getting Phil to LA? Like, that's not a joke. I mean, Phil was their coach. He was the guy they picked. What do you call Giannis? Hold on. Giannis, going and get, was it Adrian Griffin, and then all of a sudden not liking him, and then selling on Doc Rivers. Like, we gotta, like, this isn't our NBA no more. I say this all the time to us, but it's not, and it's a little bit different, but still, back in the day, I mean, let's think about it. Paul Westhead got fired in LA because Magic didn't want him. Oh, yes. Don't shake your finger. Go ahead. Come on, historian.
Paul Westhead got fired in LA because they stopped running the system. It wasn't because of Magic didn't want him. The team became stagnant and they weren't running the system anymore.
Magic
made
didn't
them
want
successful.
The team runs with Magic, and if the system's not being ran, it's because Magic isn't running and Magic's not happy.
Exactly. Thank you.
But the system is what won you the championship. Come on now. Let's call a spade a spade. You want to get into it? We can get into it.
Hold on. I want to address one thing. And the reason why I brought up Monty Williams is because you have a coach with experience. He took a team to a finals, which you thought would have been some like Boston has been losing, and then you finally get over the hump. You just went and got a guy with no coaching experience. Phil and Shaq wanted Kobe. Phil had pedigree. Before Phil even joined the Lakers, Phil was already a Hall of Fame coach. That's the, and I can't I don't want to speak on because I don't know enough about Adrian Griffin, but the whole Milwaukee thing, but I'm just talking about Phil and specifically.
I mean, what about Steve Kerr? Steve Kerr, when he took over Golden State, he didn't have coaching experience.
Yeah, but I get that. I get that. I thought he was an assistant coach.
Even still, hey, it's easy to be assistant coach because the person I got a man. My man Dirk Campbell tells me the greatest thing all the time. Assistant coaches make suggestions. Head coaches make decisions.
And I get that. But you're talking about JJ Redick with no. You're talking about this. This is where it's just like it's absolutely insane because the expectations for the Lakers is to win the championship. You're bringing a guy in that doesn't even have assistant coaching experience. You're bringing a guy in that hasn't been on the bench in situations as a coach, not as a player, because it's two different things, even though it's the same game. As a player trying to figure out situations, rotations, dealing with all the personalities. Now you have to deal with all the personality. You're the guy. But in this instance, you're really not the guy. You're handpicked by the actual guy that's running the team and everybody else in the clown mask standing behind him. That's the problem with this team here. If JJ Redick was coming to the Wizards, it would be like, all right, young guy coming in, no coaching experience, but he's young. He can relate to the players. That's the conversation. The Wizards aren't expected to win an NBA championship. The Lakers are. They're vying every time, unfortunately for LeBron James, every time he steps on the floor, every time he starts the season, the expectation is championship. That's it. And that's a great standard to have. And then you got bozos like Jeff Teague saying Kobe was doing too much. And that's what we talk about on this podcast all the time. You want that work, you want those problems where you're expected to win a championship. Tom Brady, every season, he became Tom Brady after Drew Bledsoe's injury, and he started making a name for himself. Every season he stepped on the field, the Patriots were expected to win a championship. Patrick Mahomes, from now on, every season he takes a snap as the Kansas City Chiefs quarterback, they are expected to win a Super Bowl. Nobody in this damn world, when Jeff Teague stepped on the floor, expected him to do anything but put up enough to come off the bench and be productive. So give me LeBron James problems any day. That's what I'm saying. But what the thing is, it's like JJ Redick has no experience. Now you got to go through the season with him learning on the fly how to be a coach. And I think it's not gonna work out for the Lakers. They could have went and got Coach K. This team ain't winning a championship. This team ain't getting out the second round. If they get to the second round, LeBron gave you 100%. Anthony Davis played 38 games, and he's 70%. And that's all the Lakers got for you. Those are your two best guys. Go ahead, KG.
Let BJ finish.
Nah, I finished because I'm out of breath. And I can't sit down.
Let me address a few things. Number one, about Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr didn't have the experience on the bench. Steve Kerr had the front office experience, but a lot of his experience also came from being under Phil, being under Pop. That's where your experience came from. Remember, he was a bench player. He sat on the bench. He now, granted, 5-time world champion. Can't take that from him, but he sat on the bench. Then also, he had a little bit more experience than JJ has. JJ has no championship experience whatsoever. Okay?
Neither did Joe Mazzulla. What championship experience Mazzulla got?
Joe Mazzulla had coaching experience.
Yes, as an assistant. What does that
He
mean?
was a head coach.
There's a difference when you're the head coach and you're the assistant coach. We're talking about two different worlds.
Okay.
We're talking about, are you Shrek? Are you Donkey? Are you Batman? Are you Robin?
Sometimes you got to be Nightwing.
Here we go. Every goddamn time. Why we always got to end up with Nightwing?
Because I like
what was that joke? What was that line in the movie? Every time somebody bring up blah, 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 somebody got to bring such and such out their ass.
Oh, Rocky Mariano. That's they one. Nightwing. That's his one. But no, this is what I'm saying. JJ Redick has no coaching experience. Does he understand the game? I think he does understand the game. I think he really, because he was pretty damn good at it. You know, stats don't
and he was a good commentator. Like, we're acting like this man isn't. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
He has made some statements that kind of give me this. He was the one that made the firefighters and plumbers statement. And I was like, yo, you're not qualified to ever talk about that, because you're not qualified to talk about basketball if you can say things like that. I say the same thing about Nick Wright sometimes. Nick Wright, JJ Redick, and to some extent, Jason Shitlock are broken clocks at times. They're right twice a day. More Jason Whitlock than everybody else. But my thing is, JJ Redick has I've never looked at him and say, you know what? If everybody lean on JJ, he can lead this team to victory. As a player, I've never, even at Duke, I didn't think that. Because he had Shane. Nope. Shane Battier. No, he didn't have Shane Battier. Shit. I'm sorry.
Last 2 seasons, he was the reason. Like if Earth, Wind, and Fire had to make the song, it was about JJ Redick. The reasons why we win at Duke. Come on.
He had a talented squad around.
Don't discredit the man's basketball knowledge for the fact that he called them plumbers and handymen and all that. Look, the guy had to figure out a way to survive in this league without an elite skill set, and he did it. So I like, sometimes we get locked into like who these players were, but sometimes the best coaches are the guys that struggled because they had to do something outside the box, or they had to figure out a certain couple of things. And again, I said this in my last comments. His key is going to be whoever sits in chair 1 and whoever sits in chair 2.
Well, hold on. Let me get to my point here.
I'm sorry, man.
Sound like a Laker man throwing up a prayer to the sky.
At Duke, yeah, he was the man. But in the NBA, he had to find his niche, because he didn't have the handles to be a point guard. He was too small to be a 2, but the dude can shoot his ass off. And I said this when he came into the league. I said, all you got to do, you got to use him like Reggie Miller. Late career Rip Hamilton, late career Ray Allen. Run him off screens and let him catch and shoot.
Right.
But I always felt that JJ Redick entered the NBA too early. Because this generation right now is the generation that no, not like that. I'm talking about his time was too early.
Oh, okay.
This generation now is the generation that he would thrive, and he'd be a goddamn hard. They be calling that man one of the greatest shooters ever. Because it's all about catch and shoot, coming off the screen, hitting the corner 3. He was a devil at the corner 3. Dead eye. Go ahead and put this basketball with the 3 on it. Put it beside his name. Because that's what he did. Everybody talks about logo 3s. JJ Redick was doing that before anybody else. I had never seen nobody take a 3 from the logo. Shout out EA Sports Maui Invitational. I had never seen nobody do that before JJ Redick did it. Sorry. But now you putting him on the bench, and you said something earlier, Midnight Rider, that I don't agree with. How do you not bring back Phil Haney? How do you not bring him back? That's one of the best assistant coaches out there. And then number one, the work ethic that Phil has. Phil has championship pedigree. He's worked with some of the greatest players in this game. In order for JJ Redick to be successful, yes, he has to put together bench coaches. But here's where the Lakers messed up. You could have went out and you could have got
Alex Caruso.
You could have went out and you could have got a Dwayne Casey. You could have got a Van Gundy brother. You could have got Nate McMillan. God forbid if you'd have picked up Mark Jackson. But it seems like
They don't want that. LeBron does not want that. LeBron needs a yes man.
and
He's a yeah, and that's what's going to hurt JJ. JJ's not going to be able to thrive as coach because in the background he's getting text messages from LeBron. They shooting the shit on how LeBron wants his team coach, who's in the rotation. You're not going to see a true JJ Redick. You're not going to see him flourish as a coach here because it's not him coaching. Which and Midnight Rider corrects me all the time. Forgot what Laker legend said. Just let LeBron coach the damn team.
Byron Scott.
Byron Scott, just coach the team. But,
matter of fact, you could have went and got Byron Scott.
but hold on. This is the problem, and this is where I start seeing the other side of the LeBron fence where people complain about him. He doesn't want to take the hit. If this comes out, if they come out the break and they lost 6-7 straight and they look horrible, guess what you could do? You could fire JJ Redick. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna leave it here because this shit got me hot. All right, but for the first time in history, you get to see the purple and gold crawl on their knees and beg. They got denied by Hurley, and they had to go get JJ Redick because you know why? Everybody else they were kind of reaching out to, KG. Nobody wants that job.
But do you know why nobody wants that job?
Hold on, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter
But
why
do you know
no
why?
one wants. No, it doesn't
No,
matter.
let me ask you a question. But do you know why it's a swamp? Why it's a cesspool? Do you know why nobody wants that job?
Why?
Rob effing Pelinka. This dude made his name off of being Kobe's agent. That's why nobody wants that job. It's not LeBron, 100%. A lot of that's Rob Pelinka. News around the league is he is one of the hardest people to deal with because sometimes he can be a real dick and he thinks everything's a dick measuring contest instead of just taking it for what it is at face value. The dude is hard to deal with.
I disagree with you, and this is
why
this is why I disagree with you, because this is one of those jobs where if it works out, you become a legend. This isn't the Wizards, but this is one of those jobs where the owner. It kind of was like that when Dan Snyder first got here with the Redskins. The franchise was so storied, he could be a fuck up. And people wanted to come here because of the history, and that slowly faded away. But you have recent history with the Lakers. They just won a championship. They won a championship 09 and 10 with Kobe. So you have recent history. They're still the premier franchise elite. So you got to take the good with the bad. Every job has good with the bad and pros and cons.
True.
And the Lakers sit on that pedestal of coaching jobs, and I don't think it's Rob Pelinka. I think it's 23.
Now, I'm telling you who it is because that's what the stories is. Everything that's coming out, nobody wants to sign to LA. They can't get no other free agents. They got money and can't get nobody. Why does nobody want to go to LA? Why nobody want to play with LeBron? Because nobody wants to deal with Rob Pelinka. No. Jerry Buss is not walking through that door. Bill Sullivan is not walking through that door.
Look, man, everybody understands if you're the third person in the LeBron, whomever trio, you become the fall guy. Kevin Love's career took a nosedive.
Exactly.
Chris Bosh's career, nosedive.
When did Chris Bosh's career take a nosedive? He damn sure made himself a Hall of Famer. He made his Hall of Fame case stronger.
Yeah, but his Hall of Fame start was in Toronto.
Yeah, but he made his case stronger.
Okay. All right, KG.
I don't like how you just dismiss me like that, man. Like I'm talking nonsense. Like I'm the dude. You dismiss me like you dismiss me like I'm some small or something. Like you treat me like half a fag or something. Like what the fuck I do?
I'm gonna tell you this is an inside joke with KG. Go do the rest of that work, boy.
I was about to say it's not like I said go get your shine box or anything like that. Dude, I just had to stop myself.
You just straight dismiss me like
No. Because there are certain points when me and you talk, I know your will is here, and you're not going to stop on your path, and I'm not going to stop on my path. So sometimes I have to just be like, okay, and let's think about something else. Let's make a better conversation instead of arguing back and forth.
It's not an argument. It's a discussion. It's a heated discussion.
No.
We don't argue here.
You sound like First Take on this joint, arguing.
But
so
here's
we
the arguing thing about who to blame. I'm sorry, we having a heated discussion about who to blame.
Right, but here's the other part. We keep acting and assuming that 23 is going to be in LA. We don't know that for sure. I mean, if the Chicago Bulls can get rid of Caruso, why can't LeBron leave the Lakers? I'm sorry.
Well, somebody said he was probably one of the greatest Lakers of all time, and I said I disagree.
Who's the greatest Laker of all time?
One of the greatest Lakers of all time.
Who?
LBJ. And I said I disagree. I said he's not even the greatest Lakers small forward.
We have an owl on the show.
No. You know what? I like what you did there. I like that.
I'm only going off everything that I said. I'm going off of.
You had some negative energy come your way. You turned around and then you threw it back at me. I understand that and I appreciate it. After the Caruso shot, you came back with your shot.
Okay, so I say we'll wait to see who he puts on the bench, and then we'll put in a over-under bet on how many wins the Lakers get. We do that as a group. That sound good to you guys?
I can put that bet in there. Under 45. I ain't gotta wait. I ain't gotta wait till nobody get on the bench. Under 45.
Now, what if they come out and they win 60?
KG. I ain't even pushing 60.
KG. I'm gonna go ahead and order some more cement for your Hall of Very Good. Okay. All right. And the rest of the chocolate in the refrigerator is like, calm down.
All right. Now, this has been alluded to a couple of times. It's been too long and I'm lost without you. What am I gonna do? Said I've been needing you, wanting you. My man, who I just named one of my favorite players on Tuesday night. Like, I just named the dude. Like,
I don't know who else is on your list, but I'd be a little nervous if I watch the show.
I think they better be scared. Alex Caruso traded to Oklahoma City for Josh Giddey. I'll let you gentlemen handle it first, and then I'll finish up.
Do you mind if I give you some of mine? No, seriously.
Well, baby,
yeah. Oh, my bad. Allegedly. All right. So, no, seriously, I think, from a basketball standpoint and taking all the personal stuff off the court, I think it's actually a quasi decent move for Chicago in terms of you get a guard that's actually has some height to him. He's a plus size guard in terms of the backcourt. You can pair him up with Kobe White. Kobe ends up having a guard, the shorter point guard. He can guard the two. So that's where your backcourt gets balanced. You know, maybe you do some cross guarding or whatever. You also get somebody that doesn't need a whole lot of shots. So he can defer to Kobe White and whoever else you bring in. Because I think the next person that gets moved is Nikola Vucevic. Yeah, whatever. I think you get him moved, and you might even see a situation where they gotta move Levon. And I think they gotta move DeRozan. I think they have to kind of reset this in a certain way because they're not gonna do anything the way they're set up. And sometimes teams have to come to this point. And when I met you guys, you were all in on getting rid of Bill and resetting the franchise. And I think Chicago has to do a reshaping of his roster. I'm not saying a rebuild, but they have to reshape it in a way where they can use the guys that they have and move on from them to get something better. Because I think Kobe is the guy that maybe you build around, or is your your Brunson, and then everybody else has to kind of fit. and now you start using the pieces. Because I mean, I'm sorry, Levine. I'm out on him. DeRozan, I think DeRozan needs to be in a situation where he's with a contender, and I think he could be and he's the third option. I think he'll be okay. Just keep him away from Kyle Lowry. And then Vucevic, whatever. I mean, he got to go because he's just not a difference maker on the other end of the floor. So yeah, I think Chicago has to kind of undergo a facelift to kind of figure out what they're going to be going forward. Boss man? Oh, he can't talk. Go ahead, KG.
Let me say this. Am I happy with this? No. I see why the move was made, but am I happy about it? No, of course I'm not. Because this is, if we're gonna make a trade, this is not the dude that I want to make the first trade on right now. I want Levine gone. I've been wanting Levine gone for quite some time. I never agreed with trading Jimmy Buckets for Zach LaVine because I felt like we didn't get the return that I thought we were going to get. Now, LaVine has some pretty good games. He's a pretty decent player. It just seems like he's not the guy that fits this system. Now, DeRozan's a free agent. So is Andre Drummond. Patrick Williams is a free agent. And so is Lonzo. So we're going to lose a lot of pieces. I would love to bring back DeMar DeRozan, most definitely. I would love to bring him back because he is our leader. Now, they moved Caruso because Kobe White was coming off the bench. Kobe White, the second half of last season, the dude shined. He got his man. No pun intended. Now, of course, it was going to cause a backlog because you think about it. If you had as your guards, you had DeRozan, Ball when he came back, Carter, Caruso, Dosamu was another one that showed up late in the season. That's 5 guards right there, and I still ain't named Levine. So you got 6 guards right now fighting for 2 spots as starters and possibly 2 or 3 in the rotation. Somebody's got to be the odd man out. Didn't want it to be Alex Caruso. I understand it. Still a fan, gonna continue to be a fan of his. But I need management to get their head out of their ass and somebody has to take Levine. You have to re-sign DeRozan. So that way you have Kobe, DeRozan, and we get rid of Vucevic. We got to find a big. We got to find a big. But we got to find a big that can play on the block.
I just don't think he does enough. Like I think he's
not the same.
He's not the same. I don't even know what he was to begin with. But let's go to the other side of this trade because this is where it gets important. If somehow Caruso and you're starting Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Caruso in the same backcourt, point guards beware. You got 2 guards that's going to hound you all over the court, and then you throw in your Lou Dort. I mean, this OKC team can be very dangerous on the defensive side of the ball and create nightmares and create problems.
Let me say this as well, and I know we make jokes about it, and I said something about it while it was going on. I said it's kind of funny. It was all quiet on the Western Front when old boy was up and they was making these allegations. It was quiet. He didn't miss no games, but to get him, it's nothing against him personally. I don't think this is what I want team-wise because we need if they don't re-sign DeMar, we're going to be such a young team. We don't have veteran leadership. I really don't have faith in Billy Donovan. I want him gone too. I didn't want him in the first place. Just like I didn't want Fred Hoiberg, and I love Fred Hoiberg. I love the man. Didn't want him either.
Dude, you gotta. I mean, I don't know, man. I think the problem Chicago has is they're in that space with a lot of other teams where you hit your ceiling and now you've hit your ceiling not once, not twice, not 3 times. You know what I'm saying? So now it's at that point. And you either got to figure out, you should know you're getting off the pot.
Okay. Here's the thing. Every time we got something rolling, every time. I thought it was just a Garpax thing. Now I'm starting to look at management like, no, it looks like y'all are doing this on purpose. We went from 6 championships in 8 years to scraping the bottom of the barrel with 2 high school players. It took 5 years to make it back to the playoffs. You go into another dry spell, then you get into the Derrick Rose era. So you have Derrick Rose, you have Taj Gibson, Jimmy Butler, you have all those guys. Rose gets hurt, we still running. Only thing that we were missing from those teams was a scoring 2 guard. You bring in Rip Hamilton. Rip Hamilton was 2 steps away from the retirement home. You blow all of that up. First, you trade Rose. Then a year later, you trade Jimmy G. You let Tibbs go. We haven't had a good coach since Tibbs left. That's a problem.
No, I think your biggest problem has been a talent problem. Like as much as everybody loves the scoring of LaVine, but LaVine doesn't give you that scoring on a consistent basis. Again, I keep telling you, Vucevic. I'll take that and go with it. But let's get back to OKC with what they're doing because they were the 1 seed. Go ahead, B.
No, I said you did it. I was about to say, can I make a boss move and we stop talking about the Chicago Bulls?
We never talk about the Chicago Bulls. Everybody else get to gush about their team, but I can't gush about mine. What the fuck?
We're not gushing. You pulling out the gauze and the Band-Aids and the Vaseline trying to patch it together.
See,
that ain't gushing. It is gushing. You trying to stop the bleeding. You can't stop that bleeding. You just got to chop the arm off and hope it grow back.
It's a Band-Aid on a bullet wound.
Band-Aid on the bullet wound.
And it's a hollow point. And you're already talking to the man upstairs when they put the Band-Aid on it.
Okay.
Go ahead, baby.
That's all I had. I just wanted to come in and let's go.
Let's roll it.
See, this is what I'm talking about. 1 second we all hugging and kissing, the next second he busting my balls and shit. Like, this is what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why this works.
When they introduce the Chicago Bulls, they should play that part from what you call him, Ricky.
On the flip side.
Hold on. Let's stay in basketball.
Hold on, we ain't going nowhere. On the flip side, you want to talk about OKC? I think OKC comes out sweeter.
Right.
You got a veteran, two-time all defensive team.
Yep.
Playing Caruso, yeah. I think they'll lead the league in steals. Because Caruso gonna get out.
They'll just be one of the better defensive teams like they were this year. They'll just repeat. But what I was about to get to is we haven't really talked about the Wizards at number 2. And that's mostly because I think B's the only Wizards fan. I think KG and I are people that sit on the cursory, on the edge, on the margins, because they're the hometown team. We don't have any investment. But I watched a very interesting podcast today, and there's a guard from so all the talk is the French kid Rissard Shea might end up being number 1. And if that's the case, then the number 2 kid is the kid Sarr. And then everybody started talking about Sarr, and if he goes 1, the Wizards beat reporters were talking about this kid from UConn. God, and I just lost his information just as I was about to bring this up. But there's a 6'6" guard from UConn, and of course, everything that I have is going away from it. I think it's Castle or something like that. Don't quote me on the name, and I'll get it once I switch it over to the fellas. But I think what we got to think of when it comes to the Wizards and this number 2 pick coming up next week is this group wants defenders and they want someone that has, what's the word I'm looking for? They have above average height and size for their position. What did you say, KG?
Moxie.
No. They want that too. So it's going to be interesting to see what player comes out of that mold. So for you guys, I mean, I know you may not have done a lot of Wizard talk, so you don't have to get in the exact players, but just what do you think the Wizards, because the Wizards have 2 picks. I think they have 2 and 22 or something like that. Just what do you think their mindset is?
I think y'all can hear me good.
Yep.
Yeah.
I sound like the Verizon guy. Can you hear me now? But I think the mindset is, and it's just my personal, is that you get a bunch of guys, and the Midnight Rider said this a couple times, that are super long in length, have great athleticism. And I think, and it is something else Midnight Rider alluded to. You hope one of these guys can turn into that guy,
Mm-hmm.
but if they can't, you have enough talent on the team where they can help each other, and they can feed off of each other. And in any given night, you can have 3 guys that can kind of run and go. And it's kind of going to be like trying to make a comparison. I guess it's not a good comparison, but like running back by committee.
Yes.
That's what you're going for right now with the Wizards. Until you can get a bona fide, you whoever's going to turn into, like Oklahoma said, whoever's going to turn into SGA. You're not putting the pressure on one guy to do that. You have a plethora of guys that can play a certain style way, can play 2-way, that can do a multitude of things, and then you go add some pieces. You add a shooter. You find some type of veteran leadership, which is different today than it was 20 years ago. But you start putting a team together once you figure out kind of what your nucleus is, and they don't have a nucleus right now because you still got to figure out what you're going to do with Kuzma and Poole. I don't think either one of those guys are part of that future. Personally, I think the Wizards are dealing smarter now, and they're waiting for the right package to get Kuzma out. They're waiting. You couldn't really do anything with Poole because of how he played and just his attitude. But if he comes in ripping it up, then you have 2 pieces that you can move because you're not winning anything. You tried the Poole experiment, and then they still have. Is that Bagley they got from Detroit?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's he was a number 2 pick.
Yeah, and he's
So
getting them like 14 and 10 for a stretch before he got hurt.
Exactly. And if he could just be a positive role model for those guys, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for guys like that can come in, show work ethic, change the attitude of the franchise to where these guys like, all right, this ain't a joke. Let's do this. You want those young guys to have that Anthony Edwards mentality, like, I'm going to take it from you guys. That y'all have had it long enough. I want to be the person that when you look back and see the Wizards are on top now, it's me. And that's what you're looking for. So they got a long way to go, but I think, and this is a Midnight Rider-ism, they have their type that they want to go get. They have their type, and it's just a matter of time of building those pieces and figuring out how everybody falls in place, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and so the kid I was talking about is Stephon Castle, the 6'6", 215-pound freshman at UConn. So he's a guy that all the beat reporters for the Wizards They had a round table, and I think we should talk to Hill because as we get closer to the football season, we should do a round table type of event where everybody kind of does their predictions for football season. But I'm gonna stay on tangent and on point. But Castle was the guy that everybody brought up as I was listening to him, and they talked about him being a plus defender. He's 6'6". I think he's a point guard. So if you get him in place, what it ends up doing is you can kind of play pool at the 2. If you want to play pool at the 2, maybe Koulibaly at the 3. You don't have to, but even if you put Castle and Koulibaly 6'6" and 6'9" up front as your 1 and 2, that just creates nightmares on the defensive end, and it gives you plus size defenders on the court. Again, that's something that I keep referring to because that seems like a thing for Winger and these guys because that's kind of how the OKC team was built. The other reason I bring it up is because I think Kuzma is your trade chip this right now. Like they're trying to find a home for Kuzma because you got to get something for him now to help you build for the future. And quite honestly, if they pick the right guys in this season, we could look at a team that we thought that probably was projected or hoped to have 15 wins, but maybe they get to that 25 plateau. Maybe they get to that 27 plateau. And now we're building ahead of schedule, kind of like the Nationals are doing this year, kind of like the Orioles did 2 years ago. Like we're ahead of schedule of the rebuild.
Let me say this real quick. I noticed that a name, probably one of the best college basketball players this past season, center Zach Edey.
What?
Out of Purdue.
Huh?
Nobody's okay.
What?
I mean, he's a 20-10 guy.
What? No, I'm messing with you, dog.
Never mind. You know, always shoot.
Nah, I mean, Eddie. So here's the thing. Everything I hear in basketball circles, because I listen to like other cities, other podcasts, other groups, is I think that the Eddie situation is he's got to find the right city, the right system, and the right fit. Like I don't think he fits here because the kid
300 pounds. He better learn how to fit. You can't teach that.
Whoa, pause. What I was gonna say is
no.
Right in
they drafted the kid in the second round last year that came over towards the end of the season. So I don't know how much they're doing. I don't see the Wizards being a team that's gonna center their offense or have someone like Eddie or Edie that can't be a flex player. So like I can see Edie going to Milwaukee because you had a Lopez brother there, and maybe you don't keep the Lopez brother, you put Edie in that situation because now it's cheaper.
Which one you getting rid of? You getting rid of Brook or Dirty?
It don't matter. It's a Lopez brother.
Hall of Fames.
Oh Jesus, I'm not going. You know, like maybe he can go to a place like Denver that doesn't mind, you know, focusing around the post, but it's got to be a fit. And I think sometimes these teams don't think about fits. They think about the best talent, and that's where some of the problems roll in, and that's also where some of the problems don't. Go ahead.
No, I was messing with the background.
Oh, I thought you was putting a pin in it. So I was.
I was moving. I was actually had my hair up, and you couldn't see my hair because of Alex Caruso. So that was kind of cool.
Oh, okay.
But I'm just saying, man, 7'4", 300 pounds. But once again, this is not a big man's league. Right. So if he can't shoot, he can't be a stretch five. It's not going to work.
But there's some teams that depend on that. So that's why I say he's got to just find the right situation. And if he does, I think he'll be a player for 10 years. I think he'll be a player for 10 years anyway because Alex Len is.
Well, yeah, Alex Len was a dog at Maryland, man. He was a dog, man. He was a dog.
He was a what?
I felt sarcasm the whole time. I just wasn't reading into it.
Woo, shit.
Yeah, he was. You seen that clip, social media clip where the dog, she gives the dog the treat and he turns around and put his butt in the air?
Oh God, no.
You ever seen that?
No.
That was Alex Lynn in Maryland. I'll send it to you, Midnight Rider.
Oh shit. But never mind, I'm not even gonna go there. Rapid fire. Quickly, because we gotta get up out of here. Commanders news. It came out today. I don't know. See, I'm gonna say this real quick and I'm gonna leave it alone. When you got a new regime in, well, we wasn't allowed to do this last year. So it came out that Eric Bieniemy didn't let the offense wear their hats backwards because he wanted them to represent as men better than that. So they inside they couldn't wear their hats backwards. Outside they couldn't wear their hat backwards. Here's the thing. I grew up in a household. My grandfather wore hats everywhere. You weren't allowed to wear a hat inside the house. If you were indoors, you didn't wear your hat. Why are we still talking about Eric Bieniemy? He's over in UCLA. We got a whole new regime here. I don't give a shit what the hell happened last season. I don't care what last season is last season. That's last regime. No, there's no need for parting shots. Oh, we didn't do this last year. We didn't do that. I don't give a damn because you didn't do shit last year. Did all this talk about what happened last year? Cut it. Worry about this year. That's what you need to focus on. The past, the fucking past. Leave it back there. That's the problem that we got in this city. Always worried about the last coaching staff did this, and I ain't like this. I ain't like that. When Jay Gruden got fired, Chris Thompson gets on the radio, starts crying about that. What has your career done since that? Nothing. Shut up and focus on the future, damn it.
Well, while KG is doing that, I think I was the harshest critic of the group, and maybe BJ was with me on Bieniemy. And it was because when I watched this team play, I felt like there were things missing. And, when it comes to leadership, sometimes, and this really is going to sound real personal because I got some things going on in life that really fit around the situation. But when you deal with leaders, there's a difference between a leader and a boss. And people will always circle around a great leader. People will find a way, or sometimes if what the boss is saying doesn't lead to the right results, you lose the people that's following the boss. Now, anywhere in the world, if you want a speaker to talk about your team or talk about how you grow a team, you know what I'm saying? I can be your inspirational speaker. You know what I'm saying? I don't do commencements, but that right there, that's a message. So if you're in any place of leadership and you need somebody to talk to your team about being a team, Midnight Rider, aka Fat Poet 10. Let me stop shelling for stuff. I'm joking around. But no, seriously, I think there's a difference. And like when you're a leader and you don't always take the input of others, when your way is the only way, that's the struggle. And that's where people struggle to follow you because they don't feel like they have the input. And I know he said the right things early in the season, like, oh yeah, I asked Sam what he think, but I didn't see that on the field. You can say it, you can think it, but when it don't translate, there's a difference. When you can't take what you do here and put it over here, then maybe something's going on in between. And I think, and Sam even said, like, he struggled because I think he said he was trying to do too much. So, but I think this whole hat backwards thing isn't speaking to Bieniemy's ability to be a coach. It speaks to Bieniemy's ability to lead people. And not everybody's meant to lead people.
Get it? Boss BJ?
He said he can't talk.
Okay. Here's my thing. Bieniemy's gone. Ron Rivera's gone. It seemed like sometimes people take part in shots at them now that they're gone. But a lot of those people that take part in shots were the same people that were praising them when they were here. You were so happy that they were here. Because, things are just going to go up. But when it didn't work out the way you thought and they got let go, immediately you jumped on the other side. See, a lot of people, and I can only speak for this fan base. I can't speak for no other fan base around the country. A lot of people in this fan base, you ain't nothing but Judases. That's what you are. You fair weather fans, when it's going good, you're great. The second there's a hiccup or there's a pebble in the road, you stumble a little bit, immediately you went off the ride. Like you can't go through a rough patch.
That's
I
not
digress.
fair. No, that's not fair because sometimes the truth gets shown to you, and when you see with your eyes, sometimes you can't just be like, "Oh, all right." Like people, come on, dog. We had this argument before or conversation before where everybody was talking about, "Oh, Bieniemy's the next head coach," and the whole time you had that conversation with me, I said, "I don't know." I kept you at arm's length on that because I had to see something from him during the season. And then once I saw in week 2 in Denver, I was like, all right, maybe we turn the butt. Maybe we turn something. But I'll tell you right now, I know when my turning point, when that button got unturned, was that New York Giants game in New York when the Giants blitzed them uncontrollably and he had no answers. The second you do that and you show me, hey.
But guess what? Throughout all of that, you were never at the point where you were like, you wasn't like Bieniemy's trash. You wasn't praising him week 1 and then week 2 you was calling him trash. And he was like, give him a little time. Let's see where it goes. You were more optimistic than pessimistic. You were a glass half full guy for the majority of that season, but then you saw something that turned you off, and you kind of said, you know what? I'm out on these talks. This is not where I want to be. I'm talking about the people, and I've seen it. I've been in plenty of barbershops over the years that they'll praise the team when they win it. They lose a close game that was just like really, really close. You know, you need a first down here, a field goal there that didn't go. Oh, man, this team is trash. This team, no, it was just a tough loss. That was actually just a tough loss. That's one of those losses you got to bounce back from, and then you win 3 games. And then they would go out and win 3 straight games. And back waving your pom-poms again. Then when they lose a heartbreaker, you back to calling them trash. Like, this is fair.
They only won 4 games. And 3 of those.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not talking last season. I'm talking.
No. I know what you're saying, but I'm like, for me, like I told you, even during the season, and for me, I think for me, the season is an arc. And as you go over that arc, you figure out as you go along. And I told you, I think the Giants game was 1. No, actually, I think the Bills game was 1. The Giants game was 2. And I started questioning if it was the quarterback or it was the offense. And in retrospect now, looking back at it all, I think if I had a blame pie, I'd have put 50% on Sam Howell, and I put 50% on Eric Bieniemy as to why this offense last year wasn't better.
Well, at least you're not like somebody in town where this team goes out, lays a big fat goose egg, and you like, well, you got to look at the positive. I mean, they did have 85 rushing yards and everything, and then on top of that, he still completed 55% of his passes. At least you're not that guy.
I got you, man. Since BJ can't talk, how we want to finish this up? We got 6 minutes, Dougie Fresh.
I think I can talk now, but I'm just this is amazing. This is the only podcast, ladies and gentlemen, where there's no active sports, and we can give you an hour plus. Man.
Well,
we had some button pushing topics today.
Yeah, we did. Cause
you got close to home. You got to LA, you got to Chicago, and then that takes care of itself.
Quick question. We didn't talk about this, but it was in the group. Cameron Brink, she's out for the rest of the season, torn ACL. I think Jack said he watched the game and the floor looked like it was wet.
Mm-hmm.
So that means no Olympics for her as well. Do you think they get a people what they want? I don't know who the people are, but do you think they give them what they want and put Caitlin Clark on the Olympic team to replace her?
Are you serious right now?
I'm dead ass.
I just hope. I hope because if Cameron Brink is there, then I'm thinking she's there for rebounding and she's a big, and I hope they replace her with a big. I don't care about the Caitlin Clark thing, but if you want to, sure, go ahead and knock yourself out. I'm gonna let that be a a situation where I say carry on, do what you want to do in this one, brother.
Yeah, it's this is crazy, and her name slips me right now, but she explained why Caitlin Clark was left off the team and why these girls that are on the team have been practicing and doing all this stuff for a long time now. Like the Midnight Rider said, we're not gonna spend no time on this. You got to replace a big with a big. So that's that.
Okay. I'm eager to see the women's team, but I'm eager to see Brittany Griner. I think she's gonna be your catalyst. I think she's gonna dog a lot of people out there.
Who?
Brittany Griner.
Oh, she might be in trouble too. She might not be able to travel because think about it, she had an arrest in Russia. So if she whatever that situation in Russia is, that could complicate her going into other countries.
Well, we shall see.
So just keep an eye out for that. Oh, and by the way, if you didn't see it, today Spain beat Italy in the Euro Cup series. And one thing we talked about when we were talking about hockey, where you gotta put shots on the net. Well, Spain today, they had a shot from a terrible angle, and basically when the guy shot the ball or kicked the ball across the face of the goal, the goalie missed it, and like one of the defenders for Italy was coming back into the play, and he accidentally headed the shot back into the goal. So when people say, yeah, so it was an own goal situation. So when people say you gotta put shots on the goal, like that's one of the situations where it was the personification of if you put a shot on the goal, anything can happen.
Well, tomorrow night, Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Will we be crowning a new champion, or will we be preparing for Game 7?
I think we're just gonna be waiting to see if the girl in Edmonton comes back and Edmonton scores goals. I'm joking.
No comment. So, B, you got any final thoughts before we get out of here?
I just want to go out on a weak note, and I just want to channel my inner Jason Tatum. We did it!
They gave him a hard time too because they said he tried to steal everybody's celebration.
He tried.
Yep. They said he stole a Kobe iconic photo. I'm tired of everybody recreating that too.
But I mean, that's what they grew up on, man.
Yeah, but
like, y'all acting like if. Come on, dude. You trying to tell me?
Okay, I grew up on Jordan crying with the trophy and his father patting him on the back. I never tried to recreate it.
You didn't win the NBA title.
I won plenty of titles. How you know I won an NBA title before?
Oh God!
And then
we're not talking about your video game career.
And then plus our father wouldn't have been there to pat us on the back. He would have been gone.
Our father was too busy fighting crime, so you know. John Shaft. Shout out. But no, I mean, do your own thing, man. And they gave him a hard time because he took Steph, Kanye, KG, like, geez, okay. Man, but he was in the moment. Man. He earned it, so I let him slide with that.
All right, man.
So
please watch what I sent you. Please watch what I sent y'all in the chat.
Will do.
All right, will do.
For the boss, BJ, the Midnight Rider, I'm the big guy, KG. Bad silences and all, baby. We ain't doing no overtime. We are out of
We did it!